because freedom is a consequence of living in a certain way. Freedom is not something that you do. You cannot do the consequence, you cannot do the fruit. You can only nurture the plant. Fruit has to happen. You must have the patience to wait. You must have the commitment to nurture. Otherwise, the fruit will not come. But right now, we are plucking the fruit out of a tree that is non-existent. Freedom without responsibility will naturally lead to freakier and freakier expressions of human mind. And in this, see, when you say somebody is a freak, essentially it means they're alone. Yes or no? We say somebody… Can I point at you, Baba? If we say he's a freak, what we are saying is he doesn't belong to this, he's alone. If he became alone because he is in profound enjoyment of his solitude or his aloneness, fantastic. It's the best thing that a human being can do. But he's alone because of his irresponsible behavior or trying to do something just to stand out among people, now he will become lonely in everything. When a whole society tries that, then loneliness becomes a massive issue. And loneliness, as I said earlier, is an incubation period for more complex problems which will naturally evolve. It's very, very important that already it's manifesting in many different ways, but at least now, before it's too late, we're looking at loneliness, we're writing about loneliness, addressing loneliness, because if we don't address it at the right moment, with the right amount of input into it, well, you will have a world full of sick people. And many of you, or at least a few of you may know this, you don't have to be mentally ill. Just somebody around you is the most painful experience. If one person is mentally ill, at least 10 people will suffer immensely around them. Because that's the nature. If one person is physically ill, he will suffer, but others can tend to it, and you know, physical illness brings a lot of love, compassion, connection, everything. Mental illness is not like that. It's a dangerous direction to move in, because if one person suffers mental illness, he ensures that everybody suffers, not by intent, but that is the nature of that problem. So, addressing these things at an early age becomes important, whether this irresponsible use of technology. You cannot stop technology, and it should not be stopped, it has to go where it goes. We are into a lot of transformational technology, but real work to transform human beings has not started yet. This is our problem. What we use, the material or the machines that we use are going through the ceiling. We are still in the same caveman's position. If I just touch you, it will growl like a caveman, even today. So I'm saying caveman handling all this advanced technology is not only dangerous to him, it's dangerous to the very existence of the planet. Because today we have enough technology, enough destructive power. When I say destructive power, don't think just nuclear bomb, something, yes, that is definitely there. But there are so many ways to freak life for everybody around you today, and it's in the hands of just about everybody. It's just another few years where even little kids will figure out how to do this just for fun. You understand? They can freak your life, they can close down this, they can do that, everything on their phone they can do because it's going there. And technology is running at such a pace, it's time that you upgrade your technology, that this must be upgraded. If this is not upgraded, then whenever we upgrade our activity without upgrading this one, then we will stop. Right now, people are saying stress, anxiety, this, that. Well, They got a job that they wanted, and why are they stressing? They are not given a job that they don't want, they educated themselves for that, they applied for it and they got the job. Now they're stressful. It was like that sometime ago. Now in the school itself they're stressful. Nothing, your parents are paying the fees, they're feeding you, they're dropping you, they're picking you up, but you're stressed. What is this about? We must understand, we just do not know how to manage human intelligence. When our intelligence turns against us, you can call it stress, you can call it anxiety, you can give it 1,000 names, it doesn't matter. Essentially, there is no system in the society to teach people how you should hold your intelligence, because it's a sharp instrument. If you were an earthworm, you could hold it anyway. Some people believe earthworm has brains at both ends. Not true, but a lot of people believe like this. So, that level of brain if you have, no problem, whichever way you use it. Once you have this level of intelligence, how you hold it, how you employ it is important because it's a sharp instrument. Once you have a sharp instrument, how you conduct it, how consciously you apply it is very important. Essentially, it is compulsive behavior. Compulsive behavior means compulsiveness is essentially absence of consciousness. There is not enough consciousness to use what we have, whether the technology at hand or the greatest technology which is here, in a way that works for me and for everybody around me. If my own intelligence turns against me, no force in the universe can take me, yes or no? If your intelligence turns against you, you're finished. This is what mental illness means. But when we say stress is normal, you must understand you are working for creating a mentally ill world. You are working for creating a humanity which is mentally ill. Stress is not normal. When you were 5 years of age, joy was normal, isn't it so? Hello? When did stress not become normal? Because you met all the wrong people, or you are the wrong person. When did it become normal? People ask me, Sadhguru, how do you unwind, Sadhguru? What do you do in your life? I said, I don't wind myself up. So there is a massive perceptional dislocation about everything because only information, no living experience. It is not just in terms of human connection, definitely that is there, but in every way. They're all getting serious. Temperance will apply for a job in Bengaluru. They all come from around that region, news. So they were interviewing him and this was a very, the job required a certain level of perception. So they asked him a question, which is further, Mumbai or moon? Without batting an eyelid, Shankaran Pillai said, Mumbai. How is that? He said, I can see the moon, I can't see Mumbai. So, perceptual dislocation is heavy right now in the world because nobody has spent time with anything. A tree, an insect, a word, a word, soil. What's happening around them? There is anything, everything. You've seen the whole cosmos on your own screen. You cannot exist here, dislocated from the rest of your existence. Are you breathing? Dislocation is gone. So you know respiration is transaction. Without the transaction, you can't exist. Like this, there are million forms of transaction happening. The more you are consciously engaging in those transactions, not necessarily talking to human beings, the more stable you will be in body and mind. And they're not visible.
Every day, the period from 6:20 to 6:30 p.m. is an opportunity to experience Sadhguru's presence and establish a special contact with him. You can experience Sadhguru's presence during this period at your local time, irrespective of your physical location. The presence time also involves the Bramhananda Swaroopa chant, a consecrated sound.
Here, the Yoga Center, we invested a certain amount of energy, a phenomenal amount of energy, that even if you're like a stone, we can tip your spine a little bit. We can have you celebrating, no matter who you are. It's the little willingness if you come. If you come without unwillingness, we are willing to work with you. So we invested energy, and particularly for those of you who are little resembling rock. I'm not saying rock in a negative way. You know, you're rock. It's not negative. You're wrong. It's just grammatically wrong, so I'm saying you are like a rock. Even if you are like a rock, well, we set up time for the day.
morning, evening, whichever time, because many of you don't see a morning in your life. I'm not talking to those people who live here. We make sure they see the morning. Those of you who come from other places and those of you who are on the live stream, if you have not seen a sunrise, I don't want to disturb your lifestyle. The evening, 6:20, we have set a time. At that particular time, there is a certain concentration of energy. Particularly if you've been initiated, it will be very strong. Even otherwise, if you use some kind of thought, emotion, image, to get connected to this space, we can see that that particular time works for you as a strong presence. So, between 6:20 and 6:40, these 20 minutes, on this course line, we've invested a certain amount of, certain dimension of energy. Whatever time zones you are, your local time, 6:20, morning or evening, you could become available to this. We will spend a few minutes in this presence, keep your hands open, eyes closed, slightly upturned face. Kannamudi, ukkandu, konjam mukkam, nel mukkama vechi, kannamudi ukkandukalam. மனிதனா இருந்தாலும் கொஞ்சம் அதுக்கு கம்மியாக இருந்தாலும் பண்ணிக்கலாம். என்னத்துக்கு என்ன கொஞ்சம் பேர் அந்த சின்ன செடி மேலே ஏறி உட்காந்துக்கிறாங்க, அவருக்கெல்லாம் சொல்கிறேன் நான். கண்ண மொழி உட்காந்துக்கலாமே, கொஞ்சம் பரிமாண செயல் நடந்துடும். This afternoon, very simply, maybe one. And penance சொல்லலாம், and கூட வேண்டாம், என்ன சொல்லுங்க. Akhilānanda Swaroopa Isha Bramhananda Swaroopa Isha Jagadisha Akhilānanda Swaroopa Isha Mahesha Bramhananda Swaroopa minds open, sit with a slightly upturned face, eyes closed.
Take your own time, slowly, very, very slowly. Open your eyes.
you very much for accepting our invitation, coming down to IIT Madras, Department of Management Studies, MBA English and Electricity. We're really blessed and honored by your presence. We are really excited that we're going to have some lively conversations with you. With the permission, we're going to start the question and answer session of this. Over to you.
say it, not at the end of the conversation. Check.
Hello?
Yeah, that's good. So, I'm saying that in a technological institution, technology failure will happen. It's in the last 20 years.
Because water has memory. You can change the quality of water just by touching it on with a thought or an emotion or a hand. There are simple ways to do it. We evolved a simple device called Jivarasam. Jivarasam means the juice of life. The juice of life is water. And if you see the water with this Jivarasam and then drink it,
So-called
you will see miraculous things happening to people.
always is skeptical about this. Why should a spiritual leader be talking to business leaders, be in business meetings, be in economic forums and those kind of summits? So we must understand this. Today and for always, it's just people who live off calendars and slogans. They don't understand this. Otherwise, the success of a nation is not in the success of its politics, not in the success of even its armies, but it's always in the success of its commerce and its business. In which nation the businesses are doing really well, that nation is doing well. There's no question about it. So when this is the reality of our existence, there was a time 250 years ago when everybody wanted to come to India risking their life. You know, all the European expeditions, don't think they came here because they were in love with us. Because this was the richest nation, so everybody wanted to come here. But today, if Western nations open up their visas, 70% of Indians will swim across the oceans and get there. One, because their businesses are successful, ours are not as successful as they should be. Essentially it's that. So, business is not a bad word in my understanding of life. Business essentially means it's a transaction where both the parties benefit. And in my experience of life, whatever kind of transactions we have, whether the transactions of marketplace or marriage, both the parties should benefit, otherwise it will not sustain. Yes. So, business is not a bad word at all for me. The business also had this resistance. In 2006 or 2005, I don't remember the year, when I first went to World Economic Forum, people were almost resentful. What is a mystic doing in an economic forum? So this one person who spoke to me in a very not so business-like language said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "What's your business?" He said, "We are the third largest computer-making company." So very proudly he said 3 months later, they were taken over by the Chinese. I said, "See, it doesn't matter whether you make computers or safety pins or spacecrafts or cars, it doesn't matter what you make. Essentially, the fundamental business is of human well-being. And that's my business too. And that's why I'm here. And that's why you're here, but you have forgotten your fundamental business. You've gotten up with the process of your quarterly balance sheet and you've forgotten why the hell you're doing this business. Every business that you do is essentially for human well-being, isn't it? Your idea of humanity may be just you, unfortunately, or just you and your family, or just you and your community, or your idea of humanity may be the entire world. The question is only of scale of understanding. But essentially, every business that we are doing in this planet is for human well-being. So certain important business must be conducted in the right way.
When I say must be conducted in the right way, essentially any activity that we do, is it inclusive or is it exclusive? That's the main question. So my effort has been to make the businesses as inclusive as possible. In that particular forum, I coined this word inclusive economics. This is bouncing all over the world, including the Prime Ministers have been using this word now. Inclusive economics, because economy has to be inclusive, otherwise economy or the process of economics becomes an exploitative process where the corrections will happen in brutal ways. Think about it. Whatever you have seen in the last 2 centuries of revolution is just actually economics becoming exclusive and corrections happening in brutal ways. If you don't know that kind of correction to happen, it is very important that you run the business in an inclusive manner. So that's been my effort.
My next question is on Chennai floods. We witnessed in December 2015. Chennai floods.
Oh, you're talking like law.
Almost 280 people lost their life. Almost 3 million people were cut off from basic communities. Heavy rainfall caused around 3 crore worth damages. Not sure if Chennai or Tamil Nadu is prepared to face another situation in the near future. What needs to be done so?
We don't know how to handle a flood. That's the whole problem. When water is something that is super scarce in the country, but we build cities which are not capable of handling even the normal monsoon rains. Not even a cyclonic storm happens, that's different. That's an unusual level of water. When a tsunami came, you can't handle the water, that's a different matter. You can't be prepared for that. But a normal monsoon, we are not able to handle in most of the cities, whether you see Mumbai is every year flood, Chennai only once it happens, but it will come to you also because there is simply no planning. We're just building cities like shacks all over the place, whichever way we like, without understanding the topography. Nobody ever built a city, even in ancient times, without considering the topography of the place. But today we are such brilliant engineers, we have built things without considering the topography. We have built bridges and roads all across the country without considering the topographical issue, as if you can fix it. We can't fix it. The flow of water and many other aspects of soil dynamics and other things are very topographically decisive. So without considering the topographic aspects, we're just building cities. One building at a time. Our plan is only one building at a time, thank you. The entire plan, nobody knows where is that plan. So there is no way we can rip off the city and again put it back, not possible, we are not ready to do that. We have to make corrections. Corrections could be painful for a few people, which we must do. I think some corrections were done, people who are living in the riverbed. They are built in the riverbed, but it's their home. When you demolish this home, it looks very cruel because there's a family living there and they're suddenly out on the street. But if you want long-term well-being, some hard steps are needed. We should be willing to go through some pain if you want long-term well-being. If we don't do those things, we will live like very, for the day kind of people. Again, when it rains or when it floods or when something happens, we will always have problems. Now our problem is not a flood. Chennai has only 50% of the water that it needs right now. They're saying that 2030 you will have only 22 to 25% of water that you need. That is what we need to bother about, not really flood. But flood was a very artificial situation in my opinion. I know many people will be angered by this, the administration will be angered by this, but in my opinion this is a very artificial flood with a lot of wrong things being done. It should not rain. You want rain or no rain? How do you, will you come up in the nursery rhymes of rain, rain, go away or no? We want rain in this country. This is a tropical nation which receives only 40 to 45 days of average rain in the year. We want as much rain as possible. The only thing is we have to build capacity to see how the rainwater goes down to the soil, not flowing into your home. This needs some planning, this needs some correction. Corrections will look well when you do it, but later on citizens will enjoy that. The city will be a good place to live, but they will be painful when you do it. See, it's not about doing good to the society. You must understand there is no such thing as society, there are only human beings. Together we call them a society. If we have to live in a place, if you want to live by your own rules, you must go to the mountains and live by your own rules, but you can't live by your own rules in nature. There are other creatures, animals, you have to follow their rules if you want to survive. So if you want to survive in a human society, you have to follow those rules which are inclusive and beneficial to all. Otherwise you become unfit to live in a human society. If you go to the jungle, you must understand when the tiger is prowling, you must sit on a tree. If you walk in front of him like this, then you become reckless. So, wherever you go, there are rules. If you want to play the game, there is a rule. So to live in a city, there are rules. If you don't understand this, then we become unfit to live in a society. Especially when the society has a concentrated population, everybody has to follow the rules, otherwise every little thing that we do harms somebody else. So we need to understand this. This sense of living in close proximity is a certain challenge. And our cities are very closely packed people. So, how we walk, how we breathe, how we drive, how we throw our garbage, how we use water, everything needs to be calibrated carefully, otherwise nobody can live properly here. Because of population pressure and poverty and variety of other stresses that people are going through, they try to find shortcuts. That is how it is everywhere. People are like this. This is why we must become a law-abiding nation. Right now, even with the rivers, this is what I'm trying to do. Everybody wants to do things out of their emotion. This is a nation which runs on people's emotion. Anything you say, they want to get into action today. Wherever I go, there's a rally for rivers. Sadhguru, we will plant trees tomorrow. I said, you're not going to plant a single tree. Just shut up and give a missed call. Because what is lacking in the country is a strategy. Emotionally we do things and it dies down after 3 days. We have to approach our problems strategically. Right now, Chennai flood as an example, topographical maps are there, alright? If you just see, we know which are the areas which will have to go. Now, they are not willing to go. So if they are not willing to go, we have to do much more engineering of laying underground pipes and doing things, all this stuff. If this we have to do, there's a cost involved. If this we have to do, if we don't dig out your house, at least maybe we have to dig your garden. You must be ready for that. If you're not ready for that, there must be a law which will anyway do it. But now, if you have to make a law like that, we should not have people who are very nervous about winning the next election or winning the next vote, confidence vote. They can't make these laws, they cannot enforce these laws. There must be leadership which is willing to do what is needed for the long-term well-being of the city and the people. This needs some courage and commitment to execute what needs to be executed.
Sadhguru, now I'm going to ask you different questions.
So, I've seen people pop in answers, but you have pop in questions.
So Sadhguru, problems we What advice can you give us?
Doubt is a very good thing. Only a fool is dead sure of everything. Only idiots are dead sure of what they're doing. Either you must be an idiot or you must be a fanatic. Then you're dead sure. Otherwise, every moment there's a doubt about everything. It's a good way to live.
Doesn't it conflict with confidence, self-trust?
See, we'll come to that. Doubt means you have an active intelligence, constantly looking at everything of all possibilities. Because there is nothing here in the world which is 100% yes or 100% no. You're always looking for pluses and minuses and seeing how to gather more pluses and act. Is there 100% plus in the world or is there 100% minus in the world? There is no such thing. Is there anybody here who is 100% plus or 100% minus? Absolutely wonderful and absolutely nasty? No. They are like that. We generally gauge them and see, okay, in the day, how many times they are nasty, whether to be friendly with them or not, we decide, this is it. Whether it matches with our nastiness or not. See, we are not seeking somebody who is absolutely fantastic. We are looking for somebody whose nastiness is reasonably like ours. Some sense of compatibility for every sort of action that we perform in our life. We are looking for that kind of people. We want to drive with certain kind of people, you want to do business with certain kind of people, you want to be married to certain kind of people, you want to be friends with certain kind of people. What you're looking for is different in all these areas of activity, isn't it? So, this is always there. Only thing is, doubt is good. You must encourage doubt within yourself. Otherwise, you will either become a fanatic or a fool, thinking you have attained to certainty. No, doubt is good, but you must be joyfully confused. If you get confused, you make yourself miserable. That's the problem. If you're joyfully confused like me, you have no issue. Because you constantly nurtured confusion. Now, out of that, after much doubt and considering everything in the universe, slowly clarity arises. Now you talked about confidence. Confidence is a terrible thing, because confidence means without clarity you have attained to certainty. Confidence is the first step towards fanaticism. You will see nobody as confident as a fanatic, isn't it? Because you become a one-track mind, you never question yourself, you never question your actions, you never question your thoughts and emotions. You just become certain. So this kind of certainty is of no use. This will come because you believe something. You simply believe something. Believing something gives you confidence, but not clarity. But you will walk through the world, negotiate this world well, only when there is clarity, not when there is confidence. Confidence is a way of blundering through life. See, right now, if you want to walk through, let's say one of the roads between two roads, let's say your vision is not clear, but you have confidence, what will you do? Hello, please tell me. If somebody whose vision is not clear walks through one of these two, between these two roads, what will they do? They will step on everybody's feet, but they're confident. Right now, this is what is happening. People who believe in absolutism about everything, they are confident. They know they're doing the right thing and going to heaven. It doesn't matter what horrendous things they create. Yes or no? They are dead sure. Well, they are not dead. They are so sure that they are going straight to heaven. They know in which direction heaven is. You know, here, here. But the planet is round. You are sitting approximately at probably 12 degrees latitude and it's spinning. So if you look up, inevitably you're looking up in the wrong direction. That is not something that they will consider. They know this is the way to heaven. But the earth is spinning, always pointing in the wrong direction, isn't it? But they are dead sure, because they believe this is it. So confidence is a very bad thing that's been nurtured in people. What you need is clarity. Clarity needs working upon yourself. It will not come simply like that. That you express doubt about everything and consider constantly, slowly clarity will arise out of that. Because you see clearly, you have clarity. Confidence, you don't have to see clearly. Just like that, you believe you're right, then you're confident. Confidence is a terrible substitute for clarity. You bring clarity into your life. If you are a confident, or you're not entering manager. If you're a confident manager without clarity, you will be a blundering fool with people. Yes, but if you have clarity, you don't have to claim you're a manager. Everybody will line up behind you to ask what to do next because they see clarity.
Thank you, Sadhguru. My next question is on courage or bravery. As a child, I've always heard that three important aspects of life are education, wealth, and courage. And in Tamil we say kalvi, selvam, veeram. So as students of IT Madras, the education aspect is taken care. And we also believe that the wealth part will be taken care once we graduate from IT Madras. Courage becomes a question now. Could you give us some insights on courage?
See, when you do something beyond a little bit of reason, you call it courageous. But when somebody else does the same thing, we think he's stupid, he's risking his life. When we step back from something, we call it caution. When somebody else steps back, we say he's a coward. So this courage is a very relative thing. What is courage, what is not courage? The question is just this. There are some people who are capable of walking into situations without knowing a thing about it. Okay? But whether they can walk out of it or not is a big question mark. Again, I'm going back to the same thing. If you had absolute clarity about everything, you would know how to act in that situation or whatever that is. And you would largely know the consequence of that action. If it is a calculated effort and you put the action, it will succeed. It will not succeed because there are many factors that you could have overlooked. But if you had enough clarity, the chances of success are much, much better. But if you just have this veeram in you too much, okay? And you took steps because you were courageous. When things don't work, others will see that it was the stupidest thing to do. So you must understand, you will be attributed with all kinds of qualities, positive qualities, as long as you're successful. The moment you fail, people will see the same things that they said was courageous, they will say after 5 years, he's an utter fool. What a thing he has done to himself and to everybody. So the important thing is, the purpose of human action is success. It doesn't matter whether it's a big thing or a small thing that you do. If you… don't talk to the children. If you take any kind of action which produces positive results, then people say you're intelligent. Right? Maybe you're not. Maybe it was just chance. But they will say you're wrong. Because most of the world is not able to recognize anything other than success. It's not the best way to live. but that is the reality. Today, all over the world, all kinds of universities, especially in the United States, they want me to be there, they're asking me to be their professor. I said, I avoided university all my life. Now you think I'll get trapped in it? So, this is not because they see who I am. 35 years ago, when I simply sat down in a place, eyes closed, people thought I was a fool. 50 years ago, when I simply sat under a tree or upon a tree without doing anything with my eyes closed, my family thought I'm an utter idiot. What is happening to this boy? He's lost his mind, they thought. My father actually thought I need psychological evaluation because he's simply sitting, not doing anything. But this is what we have done in life, that we have proven as a reason to reach the process of it. If our processes are right, results will come. But because we're in such a hurry for results, we are too result-oriented. Because of that, we build these kind of cities, which no process. Only I built my house, you built your house, everybody appreciated, clapped their hands and said, oh, he has got his own house. It's a disaster for the city, but I got my own house. All right? So, this excessively success-oriented society is dangerous because we will miss all the processes, we'll bypass processes and do things, ad hoc it may succeed. Anything will succeed 50% of the time, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Yes? If you're playing cricket, with your eyes closed also, if you swing the bat, you may hit it. All right? So 50% of the time, a lot of things may happen by chance, but that is not what young people should depend on. You must build a process within yourself which is reliable. It doesn't matter, somebody approves it, disapproves it, whether the world approves it or disapproves it, whether it appreciates or depreciates, it doesn't matter. You build a solid process for yourself that is always reliable for you. If you do this, if there's an opportunity in the world, maybe it will become a big success, otherwise maybe it will be something like that, but you will have the beauty of always standing on firm ground within yourself, never struggling with anything that happens to you in your life. This is what you must build. Success in the world will come depending upon what the world is ready for. I was the same person 40 years ago, but at that time everybody thought I'm no good. But today they think I'm a great mystic, yogi, nonsense, whatever, okay? Not because they experience who I am, because everywhere it's recognized, they are also clapping their hands, that's all. So what the clock says, it doesn't matter. Have you built an appropriate process which has absolute integrity within itself? Clarity is the basis of your process. If you have done this, it doesn't matter whether the world accepts you or not. You are successful. Because as a human being, you're successful. You're successful in the world or not depends on what the world is ready for, right?
So, you
Why are you clapping?
near-death experience is a phenomenon by which we hear that the memories of previous births are awakened and people gain extrasensory perceptions. As a person, since you have undergone a near-death experience, can you
When
please…
did I die?
like, we that you sneak with you and you had…
Oh, that is not…
So, okay, then can you share what near-death experience is to us and how it awakens consciousness within us?
If you have there is something called already happened, you were talking. This is when a person, are you ready for something like this? This is kind of school like that. Hello? Are you all into
because why I'm asking this question, whether we should speak about it or not, is aspects like this about our life need to be properly looked at. If I try to give you a 2-minute answer, it will become frivolous and you'll make wrong conclusions. Either you will believe it or disbelieve it, that's no good. But it's in the intrinsic nature of the way life is built. See, how do we take all this? What are you? Swaminathan. No, I thought those 3 qualities is what I was wanted. See, you are the person that you are. You are different from this person. What is it? What is the difference? What is it that makes the difference?
Kind of experiences that have
Memory, essentially memory, right? So your memory is your person. Your memory is not just what you remember consciously. Do you remember how your great-great-great-grandmother looked like? No. But her nose is sitting on your face. Your body remembers her. Your body remembers how your forefathers looked a million years ago. So there is genetic memory, there is evolutionary memory, there is elemental memory, there is atomic memory, and there is karmic memory, and there is articulate and inarticulate memory. Like this, there are many levels of memory. In yoga, we identify 8 forms of memory. All these memories put together, you are the person that you are. All of them are interplaying with each other. You may not be conscious what is kicking in. Right now, at this stage in your life, it may so happen, I'm not saying it essentially for you, but for anybody, in your 18, you look at your mother or father and say, no, I'm never going to be like that, all right? But you become 45, you will see, you will walk like your mother, you will sit like your mother, you will talk like your mother. This happens to any number of people after older life. Because the genetic memory is overpowering your conscious memory. Unless you have consciously done something to yourself, you will see the genetic memory and the karmic memory will overpower everything that you are doing consciously, unless you have created a certain level of awareness within you that you have distanced yourself from your genetics. In this culture, there are processes. If somebody dies, we are doing various karmas from Varanasi. Kriyas and karmas are being done every year. First 11 days and then every year. This is not in memory of them. This is to distance yourself from their memory. We are trying to keep a genetic distance from their memory, because if you allow their memory to function within you, you will not have a life of your own. Unknowingly, your mother, your grandmother, your father, your grandfather, all of them will start living through you. If you want to be a fresh life, you must distance yourself. When they're alive, we love them, we respect them, everything fine. The moment they're dead, we want to distance ourselves from them. This is a very conscious culture, but unfortunately people think yearly once they're overeating, thinking they're doing this in memory of their father. No. This entire process was created to create a distance from the dead. Someone else somewhere far away said, 2000 years ago, when he said, come follow me, when people said, my father, or somebody said, my father is dead, he said, leave the dead to the dead. It looks most uncompassionate statement, but he is saying something very profound when he says, leave the dead to the dead. If you don't leave the dead dead, they will live through you. This is the nature of life. So only a human being is able to leave the dead to the dead. For all other creatures, anyway it will play through them. Even in the human being, if they're not conscious, it will play through them. So this phenomenal amount of memory, which is incredible levels of memory, because see, if you, what is that, mango or banana? No. If you eat a mango, it goes inside and becomes a woman. If he eats a mango, it goes inside and becomes a man. If a cow enters this body, it will make sure it becomes mastermind. There is memory here which makes it… See, just because you started eating not mango from Tamil Nadu, you started eating mango from Uttar Pradesh, your nose will not grow, your complexion will not change, it will not happen. It doesn't matter what is the intake, there is absolute memory within you which determines how it should be transformed. So this memory is a possibility, it makes you who you are. At the same time, memory is also a boundary. It will not let you cross that. See, I remember this much means, what does it mean? I am living within that memory boundary, isn't it? So your genetic memory, your evolutionary memory and every other kind of memory, especially the carbon is a possibility which allows you to do many things unthinking. Many things you can do. You know how to eat the sunrise? Unthinking, isn't it? You ask… here there is some Chinese lady sitting here, you ask her to eat rasam rice, whatever she does, it will spill all over the place, it will not go into her mouth. Because there is memory, simply you can eat like that. But somebody else tries such a simple act, it won't work. She will eat with 2 sticks. You try, it will go and hit the ceiling. Because all this memory is built in. I am not only talking about memory that is built by practice. There is memory which is beyond practice. Like, you will walk in a certain way without knowing why. If we look at you, you are walking half a mile away, if we look at the way you swing your hand, we know it's you. There are 7.3 billion people, but you have a unique way of swinging your arm, isn't it? So, the memory is built into you. It is both a possibility and a limitation. This is the entire goal of yoga, to go in the direction where you touch an intelligence within you, which is beyond memory. Because beyond memory means beyond boundaries also. How do you know somebody here, this is your friend and this is somebody that you do not know, that is your enemy, that is a person you like and that's a person you don't like? How do you know? Just your memory. So all your boundaries are drawn by your memory. So the memory is both a possibility and a limitation. So when the moment of leaving this body comes, don't believe all this. You must experience. When the moment of leaving this body comes, the memory goes into an overdrive. It is not about past lives or whatever, this is called the Bhairaviyasana. To conduct this consciously, that's why people who are near death or people who have become old enough and they think they must die at some point and they know they will die, they all move to Kashi at one time because they want to conduct this Bhairaviyasana consciously so that they can become free from this memory. If you become free from this memory, memory means repetitiveness. If you become free from your memory, all repetitiveness is gone. From compulsiveness to consciousness you have moved. So this is being integrated in the West in so many crazy ways. Generally these books are written, everybody is claiming they had near death because those books sell well. In America, if you want to become a millionaire, you just have to say, I almost died. And I floated, and they see angels. This is all cultural nonsense. You will see Shiva Parvati floating, they will see angels. This is all cultural stuff. But memory will go on overdrive for sure, for everyone.
Thank you, Sadhguru. Next we would like to have rapid fire questions. We would like to have some short and sweet answers from you. First question, what is the best gift? What is the best gift?
To give to somebody or receive?
Any. Give one to me.
Huh?
Give one to me.
I'm sorry?
And one to me.
Oh. Clarity is the best gift to receive. And the best to give also, because once you have clarity,
you will see it is of highest value to you, and you would love to have people around you also who have some clarity. So even if you give clarity to other people, it is not a gift to them, it's a gift to yourself. Because having people with some clarity around you is the greatest gift that you can have living in the world.
Biggest sorrow.
I don't know, because I've never had one. And can I make it little dirty? Okay, because you wanted it sweet. See, what is the joy, what is the sorrow? It's completely your psychological drama. If you are the director of your psychological drama, would you want a joyful drama or a miserable drama? So, if you have left your drama uncontrolled, then so many things are happening and you think they are real. Your sorrow and your joy, both made up by you. So if you're making it up consciously, you enjoy tragedy, you'll enjoy what's my problem. But whether you go through misery or through joy, it's your psychological drama, isn't it? Your psychological drama should be conducted by you and only you. Nobody else but you must direct your psychological drama, isn't it? Other people may decide a few things that happen around us. Nobody should decide what happens within me. The moment somebody can decide what happens within you, you are into a deep level of slavery.
Waste of time. Something that is waste of time.
No. There is no waste of time. Some people like to do a lot of things, some people don't like to do anything. But both for action and inaction there is a consequence. If they know the consequence and they're doing it, I bow down to them. But if they don't know the consequence or they're doing nothing, then we have to pinch them a little bit.
Never miss dash.
No, life. That's the only thing you can have and that's the only thing you can miss. The only thing you can have is life here, there is nothing else. And the only thing you can miss also is life. There is nothing else you can really have. See, right now I drink water, I think I'm having water. No, I'm drinking life. Having a conversation, this is life. Either you can have life or miss life. So don't miss life. So that's all you got.
Is it toughest thing to do? Toughest thing to do?
You can make anything very tough for yourself, or you can do anything playful. If you become too serious about who you are, then everything becomes difficult. If you carry yourself lightly, then everything is with ease. There is nothing really tough or easy. It is the way people experience it that something becomes very tough or something becomes a joyful problem. If you make light of yourself, life will never sit heavier than it will be light. But you think too much of yourself, everything will become difficult. Sitting, standing, somebody looked at you like this, so much difficulty. Somebody did not look at you, so much difficulty. This is because you have made yourself bigger than what you are. You have ideas about yourself, exaggerated ideas about yourself. So this is the biggest problem for humanity. Okay, it's not problem. In this cosmos, in this vast cosmos, this solar system is a speck. In that speck, planet Earth is a microspeck. In that microspeck, Chennai is a super microspeck. In that super microspeck, IIT campus is a super microspeck. In that you are a big man. This is a serious problem. It's a serious previous lack of perspective, now in this everything will become part. If you understand you are a microscopic nothing here, then it's very easy to touch to this part. Whatever we can do, we will do. What we can do, we will do. What we cannot do, we will not do. That's all there is to life.
But Sadhguru, have you never had a moment of remorse or sadness ever?
I told you, I direct my drama. Once in a way, if I like, I used to write scripts for my college days. I used to modernize Shakespearean drama for today's language, because most people wouldn't get Shakespearean language. So I would rewrite it with modern language, doing our own wacky things with Shakespeare. So, if you want to enjoy a tragedy, you can enjoy it. But I have not allowed this. I've kept the privilege of what happens within me to start, not given this to everybody. Because of that, what happens within me happens the way I want it. What happens around me doesn't happen the way I want it most of the time. Wonderful people around me striving hard to make it happen the way Sadhguru wants. But it doesn't happen that way. Because what I want is always climbing notches. If they do well, I'll climb up. If they do better, I'll climb up further. So it'll never happen. Situations in my life will never happen the way I want it, because I keep ramping it up all the time. They're doing great things, but I keep ramping it up, so always I'm disappointed with what's happening, but joyfully disappointed.
Thank you, Sadhguru. I'm sure many from the audience are looking forward to ask you some questions. So with your permission, I would like to hand it over to the audience.
Hello? I have two clarifications from you, Sadhguru. First thing is, India from time immemorial has been producing lot of philosophers, social reformers like you. Then how can I say, how can I evaluate you that you don't belong to Ram Rahim category? That's first question. And my second question is,
So let me finish one,
Pardon?
Let me finish one question.
Pardon, sir?
Let me finish one question. You don't like the answer, just the question?
Then after I will not get chance.
But this Ram Rahim thing will finish it. So, you said India has produced many philosophers, reformers, and I think you got it completely wrong on that point, because India never produced social reformers or philosophers. Philosophy is one thing we always shun. This is a land that always focused on nurturing human consciousness. This is why we look like such a big chaos, but still we manage. The entire world wonders, how the hell does India function? Yes, we are like a swarm of bees. We are going all over the place, but still going in one direction. Because in this land, nobody could ever give us a moral code. Even when so-called divine entities came, all they got were the debates. Listen. When Shiva came, his wife Parvati asked 1,000 questions. And the Shiva is full of questions and questions and questions. He can't give a commandment and say, this is it. He has to explain. This is not a philosophy. This is a seeking. This has been always a land of seekers. When Krishna came, Arjuna, his dearest friend, how many questions? Endless amount of questions. Nobody could ever give a commandment or a moral code in this country, because here we believe the best thing is to stir up your humanity, not your morality. By fixing a moral code, today it looks like everything is in order, but tomorrow people will find a way to subvert the moral code and do their own thing anyway. The best way to bring about a certain order in the society is to stir up one's humanity. But if you do the moral code, it's a one-day's job. You can carve it on the rock and say, this is it forever. But if you want to stir up humanity, you can't do it to a crowd. You have to do one at a time, one at a time. It's a lifelong commitment to people around you. About, I don't know what you know about that, I don't know what to say about him. But at the same time, I want to tell you this. This country has produced the most phenomenal sages. Sages with incisiveness of mind and consciousness, that if you come after 10,000 years, still it makes sense what they said many thousand years ago. You are not looking at that. Right now, you have unfortunately come to a stage where your idea of a sage is Ram Rahim, because you have a silly idea of secularism, he exploited it with Ram Rahim. Your idea of secularism is Amar Akbar Anthony, so he became Ram Rahim. I don't know why he's not Robert also, he did not have. So, see, this is what I said. Today, because the court has convicted him, everybody is standing up and saying, this is the most brutal. The first day, I saw him on a news channel. The cynicism of his physics itself, I said, why is even a national news channel showing this kind of thing? Obviously, if you pay money, this whatever God business, what is the movie? He made one movie. No, he made a movie, right? Ram Rahim made a movie. What is that? When he made this movie, then only you should have known the moment you saw the man. Now, because the court has convicted all of you are doing this, I said in the first day, this is a joke being played upon our society. You must stand up and say something. But now all the news channels, all the intellectuals, everybody claps their hands because they like the garish nature of what he's doing. But today, because the court is convicted, they are saying, this must go because, first of all, this is the thing. When the court was to give a judgment, their people went about creating arson around the court. Why are they doing this? Because they believe, and many times unfortunately it's worked this way, that they can force the hand of law with violence or some force on the street. That's the reason why they're doing it. Similarly, many news channels are also believing by creating a certain force of opinion, they can force the hand of law. This must stop. If we want to become a law-abiding nation, our opinion should not be bigger than the law. Law should be the ultimate thing. So here, one thing is law, which is between you and me. Because law is about how all of us can function together in the society. But another thing is how I am within myself. How I am within myself must happen by evoking my humanity, not by fixing morality on me. But if you want to evoke humanity, we need many people who are dedicated to that. I think it was very beautifully put when Adi Shankara spoke about it. He said, every one of you have tasted a mango, but all of you have not planted a mango tree. Because 10 people planted mango trees, 1,000 people are eating mangoes, the sweetness of mangoes, no. So these people, those 10 people for every 1,000 were there in the past, unfortunately they're missing. So here we are at a kind of a flux in the society right now, where we have no morality and where we have nobody to stir up our consciousness, not enough at least. So you are facing the kind of dilemma you're facing, all kinds of people are cropping up and filling the space. Just because you found one Ram Rahim, don't try to paint the entire clan black, because they don't belong to the same clan. You must understand, every sage, every seer, every yogi who came, he came absolutely as an individual. Maybe he was formed by a certain tradition, but when he stood up on his own thing, on his own clarity of perception. Those scholars who quote scriptures and other things are different. But every yogi, every mystic, every sage here who came, always stood on their own clarity. And people who saw the clarity went with them. Those who did not go. How Ram Rahim things become popular, it is like a cinema thing, okay? It's like somebody becomes a star simply because of some commercial movie or whatever they do. And the same thing is unfortunately happening in this sphere of life also. Because people are so starved out, there is no sense anywhere. They're trying to make sense out of something because we don't have a moral code, because we don't have one book to follow. And it's a great thing we don't have one book to follow or fight for. But at the same time, there is a big chasm in the country. There is no morality and there is no consciousness. If consciousness has been stirred up, there is a lot of work to do. If moral code has to be given, it's very easy. 10 things we can write down and say, this is it. Anyway, nobody will follow it. Outside they will pretend, within themselves they do what they have to do. So, today, it happens unfortunately. Indian people, Chennai people, they will say, so to their children, Santa Claus. Okay? What's happened to your brains? You did not say, see, Agastya. You did not say, see, he looks like Vasishtha. You did not say, he looks like this yogi or that yogi. You say Santa Claus. Because the British left 70 years ago. But your brains went with them. It's time to retrieve that.
One more clarification, sir. I am proud to say that IIT Madras is the only organization, IITs in our country, which is offering spirituality and knowledge. I am really proud of it, proud of IIT. When the gentleman asked you a question, how to pick up the courage, I expected a straightforward answer from you, but it was something different, that is, courage, if you work in tune with nature, you'll automatically get courage. That type of answer, spiritual answer I expected, but it gave something different. Can you explain?
If I do only what you expect, why would I be needed here? And tell me, right now, daytime, I'm asking the girls, daytime you're walking, either in the campus or in the Chennai street, where you can see everything clearly, there is clarity in your vision. Do you need courage? No. Night, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're walking back to the campus, it's dark. Now you need courage. Why? Because there is no clarity. That's all.
But doesn't that also depend upon what I'm seeing? I am seeing, but what if I'm seeing something that…
Even if you're not seeing anything, the more you don't see, the more fearful you become, the more courage you need for courage comes. But if you're seeing things very clearly, with this total clarity of vision, there is no need for courage, because clarity will carry you across. It's my wish and my blessing for all the young people in this country that it is your clarity that carries you across in your life, not stupid courage or confidence.
Excuse me, sir. What is your belief of God?
What if I don't have one?
What is your belief?
I said, what if I don't have a belief?
If you do a mistake, what you will do?
I'll correct it.
If you can't, if you are unable to correct, if you are unable to correct,
I know some things can't be fixed. I've learned that much with this fatigue. There are certain things I can't fix sometimes.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. You said intelligent people do what they like and genius people do just what is necessary. But it's not always clear just what is necessary. So how does one know? Is enlightenment a prerequisite for… If that is the case, so how do we get out of the catch-22 situation of one of them? Thank you.
Have you read Catch-22? In the movie at least? No? No. You're another generation. In our generation there was literally nobody who did not read Catch-22. So, anyway, let me not say it. That's a piece of literature that you read because in any situation, if you allow yourself, you can be confused. In any situation. In any situation, if you willing, you can bring some clarity. That clarity may not be absolute, but at least in a limited way you can bring clarity, work through that and then see what is the next level to work about. So, about intelligence doing what they like, I meant. See, if you're doing even what you don't like, it's a very unintelligent way of existence, isn't it? Because right now if you sit here and doing something that you don't like, inevitably you're going to suffer every moment of your life. Is there anything more unintelligent that you have decided that every moment of your life should be misery? So if you have some working intelligence, then it makes you but if really your intelligence flowers beyond likes and dislikes, I'm saying this, should I go through this? How it can happen? I thought you were not thinking you want to have it. Is it going to be? Oh. See, there are four, in English language, when we say mind, it's just one thing. In yoga, we look at human intelligence as 16 parts. These 16 parts we can categorize as 4 segments. These 4 segments are Buddhi, Ahankara, Mana and Chitta. Buddhi means your intellect. I'm going to ask you one question, all of you must say yes or no, I'm going to bless you with that. Would you like your buddhi or your intellect to be sharp or blunt? So it is essentially just such an instinct. If you have a sharp intellect, you can dissect everything that you see, kind of figure out what it is about. Dissection is one way of learning about things. If you give this flower to a scientist, first thing is he will open it up and he will understand the structure of the flower and various aspects of the flower. But one thing is, he will miss the flower completely. But with dissection we have understood and learned many, many things. So if I really want to know you, I should dissect you. You're not willing. Even the frog that you dissected in high school, it was not willing, but you still dissected. Because you thought it's a great education, but the frog did not think so. So dissection is one way of learning. Your intellect
As you said, you want it sharp because it's a trunker that can cut through things and show you, reveal certain things to you. But if you want to put things together, you need to do something. Suppose you want to stitch something and you still use a knife. Now you leave everything in tatters. This is the main struggle of modern society because they are employing their intellect to handle everything in life. If you employ just your intellect to handle everything, you will see every aspect of your life will become a mess. Because intellect is a specific tool to be used for a certain purpose. There was a time, when I was crisscrossing India on my motorcycle, just unfortunately because of this rally for rivers, once again I am on the motorcycle in some of the cities. Not in Chennai, today, very city. So when I was crisscrossing on the motorcycle, I never trusted any mechanic. I always fixed my own engine, my own thing. Because you're on the road and you want a reliable machine. But sometimes, if you stopped in a local mechanic somewhere, there were some, these days things have changed, there were some mechanic shops. He's actually running a professional place. All he's got is a chisel and a hammer. These are only two tools he has. With this he opens everything and fixes everything. Only thing is afterwards nobody else can open it or close it. Because he used his chisel and hammer on everything. So this is like that right now. Our modern education systems have become such that intellect is the only dimension of intelligence that we are employing. With this you can cut everything, but you can't put things together. You will not know life at all. It looks like you know about it, but you cannot know it. You will not experience the beauty of being alive if you intellectually analyze everything. You will see the parts of it. You can cut it into a million parts and you can cut this flower into a million parts and know many things that a butterfly does not know. But you do not know the joy of sitting in the flower like a butterfly, or seeing the butterfly, the flower, or smelling the flower, or experiencing the flower as a piece of life. That will not be there because intellect is essentially a performance skill. Behind this is what is called as ahankara, which usually, unfortunately, people think is ego. It's not ego, it's your identity. Your identity is your limitation. Your identity decides how your intellect functions. Right now, let us say you identify yourself strongly, I am a man. Now the way you think is always about your masculinity. Now you say I am a woman. Now your intellect functions only to protect that identity. Or you say I am an Indian or a Pakistani or I am this or that. 1,000 different identities of caste, creed, this, that, rich, poor, all kinds. Whatever you identify with, your intellect will only serve that identity. You won't even know what you are doing. You think you are doing the right thing. Everybody thinks you are a fool, but you think you are the right thing because your identity makes your intellect function that way. So in this culture, we evolved a thing that before we give education to a child, first thing is we must build a universal identity. Brahmasmi, we taught them. This means a cosmic identity, because before empowering somebody with education and knowledge, they must have as large an identity as possible, because small identities are the basis of all uses and all crimes. Yeah, I want you to understand. If suppose, I'll take the worst example because I'm always known to take these risks. Let's take the worst example, Adolf Hitler. Suppose Adolf Hitler, instead of having a limited identity, had a global identity. What a fantastic leader he would have been. Yes or no? You don't want to say yes because you're scared. I want you to look at it. It is a limited identity which is making that man do such horrendous things. Every crime, every tyrant, every nonsense that we have done on this planet is a consequence of limited identity, isn't it? I am Indian, you are Pakistani. That's why even if I don't know you, I can kill you. don't know a thing about you, but I want you dead for some reason, because my identity is like this. So it is this identity, different levels of identity, that the more limited our identity, more tyrannical our actions are. And as efficient as adulthood law, if we had an identity with the whole humanity, what a great leader we would have had. But his identity is limited, and see what horrendous thing his efficiency did. So, I wish we had leaders who had that level of efficiency, but with a larger identity. It's a very risky thing to say, but I'm saying this because we must understand what you think is evil is seeping out of your limited identity. All that's evil, all that crime on this planet is a consequence of limited identification. That's all it is. So this identity has not been worked at all in this so-called modern society. In ancient societies in this country, we always work on the identity of the person first, before we empower them with education. Cosmic identity you must have, so that your intellect does not work against somebody. Your intelligence should not become a detrimental factor in the world. That's important, isn't it? Right now you just see the highest level of science and technology. What is it used for? The first use is always military use, isn't it? Why? Because of limited identity. So before empowering a child with education and knowledge, first thing is we must fix his ahankara. What kind of ahankara we have, which we have not done, for which we are paying a price. As humanity gets more and more empowered with technology, you will see more and more pain will create to each other, because limited identification. The next dimension of intelligence is referred to as manas. Manas means it is a silo of memory, is what we were talking some time ago. 8 forms of memory are there in this, I will not go into it. But your intellect is absolutely useless if it is not connected to the memory. If I wipe out your memory, even if you have a very sharp intellect, there is nothing you can do, isn't it? It's only empowered by this memory, and the type of identity that you have will connect you to the memory in a particular way. If your identity is universal, it will connect you to the memory in one way. If your identity is limited, it will connect you to the memory in a completely different way. The same memory will function in a completely different way and find action in a totally different dimension, simply because identity is different. These are 3 dimensions of intelligence, which normally functions the most people. The 4th dimension of intelligence is referred to as chitta. Chitta means it's a dimension of intelligence which is not unsullied by memory. There is no iota of memory, which is pure intelligence. If you touch this dimension of intelligence in the yogic culture, very mysteriously it is said, if you touch your chitta, God will become your slave. And this is your slave. You can slave. The life will work for you, the source of life will work for you, because you have touched the dimension of intelligence which is beyond memory. Why is it important? Your individuality comes only because of your limited memory. So in yogic culture, we have always been taught to identify with our ignorance, never with our knowledge. If you, whatever amount of knowledge you have gathered, it is very limited compared to this cosmic space, isn't it? What is there in this creation, it doesn't matter what kind of a manager you are, what kind of an engineer you are, what you know is very minuscule. But your ignorance is boundless. If you identify with your ignorance, you will never go against anybody. If you identify with your knowledge, if I have a different kind of knowledge, you will be naturally against me. But you are identified with your ignorance, you are never against anybody, and it's a boundless space. Is your ignorance limited? It's limitless, isn't it? But is your knowledge limited? Doesn't matter if you read all the libraries on the planet, you are still a very limited knowledge. So, the way we are employing human intelligence is, if you have a 4-wheel one view, it's going to be very stressful and nobody can deal with it. This is why more intellectual you get, the more you can't get along with anybody. Happening? And the more intellectual you get, not intelligent, the more intellectual you get, the longer your face becomes. You can't smile. Smile is a big factor. I was speaking to a group of people at the Princeton University. They are all young people, and they were only 3-4 lively faces were there. Then I looked at them and said, what's happened to all of you? All these people over 30 years of age, why are they carrying such long faces? One lady stood up and said, they're all married. I thought people are getting married to multiply their joy. If they're getting married to multiply their misery, there has to be a law against it. Then I have to rally for… Some of the girls, some of the sensitive.
Sadhguru, you told about clarity. If you go from the literature of self-help, everyone talks about self-belief, but then a small amount of time, after some period, that self-belief turns to ignorance. So how do we develop conscious self-belief to any process? Consciously, because if self-belief is on a longer period without consciousness, it converts to ignorance because we feel blindly.
Are you for real? Are you real? Are you real?
Subjective, yes.
I am asking, do you exist?
Yes.
Yes, no doubt about it. Only problem is you do not know the nature of your existence. If you have doubt about your existence itself, that is a different level of problem. Okay, that's a different thing. But now you know that you exist, only thing is you do not know the nature of your existence. And for a long time, people have been saying, I believe in God. But from there we have descended to a place, I believe in myself. Believing in anything is bad enough. Believing in yourself is a total disaster. Because you must understand the word belief. It's all connected to this courage, confidence and stuff. See, how many of you believe? How many of you believe that you have two hands? All such people can raise one. One will do, one will do. Okay. Do you believe that you have two hands, or do you know that you have two hands? You know that you have two hands, isn't it? Suppose somebody starts an overwhelming argument with you that you have no hands. And if their argument becomes too overwhelming, one slap in the face, he knows you got hands. But you believe in God, you believe in something else, so many other things you believe. Why? Because you're still not straight enough to admit what I do not know as I do not know. I do not know is a tremendous possibility. Only when you see, I do not know, the possibility of knowing, and the seeking towards that knowing, and the pursuit of wanting to know will begin to happen within you, and the possibility of knowing can become realized one day if your pursuit is right. But everything that you do not know, you believe. You can call this belief or you can just call it bullshit. Because you're making up things. People do not know what the hell is happening within themselves and around themselves, but they know the entire geography of heaven. I don't understand it. They know the place so well and it's so fantastic. Why they're not gone? Yes? See, they're always talking about a fantastic place elsewhere. They must be gone. Why are they waiting here? No, because when it comes to real things, they know it's all bullshit. But on a daily basis, they carry it on. Can you, all of you young people, can you come to this level of sincerity? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. Can you do this to yourself? If you can't be straight with anybody else, at least with this one person, be absolutely straight. Believe me, life pays off in a huge way. Life will pay you in a very huge way because you're simply absolutely straight with yourself. About what kind of professions you take, I don't know how many things you have to do with other people, I will leave that to you. But at least with this one person, you must be absolutely straight. With this one thing you do, you will see life will give you dividends that other people have not dreamt of. Most people do not know what is integrity. They are innocent of integrity because they go on doing this all the time. What they know, what they do not know, they believe. Why don't you see what I know, what I do not know, I do not know. This is okay. Hello? Hello? Now, not only believing what is up there, now what is inside, you better know what is inside. Why do you believe this? What is this thing about I believe in myself? This is very American stuff. I believe in myself. Why should you believe in yourself? You should know yourself, isn't it? Hello?
We will take one last question.
Good evening, sir. So, my question is,
Where are you, man?
sir, what do you think of the proximity that religion and good work or good faith have in our country? In the sense that if someone turns up at my parents' place, for example, and he affiliates himself with a religious organization rather than just a normal, secular or religious organization, my parents are more likely to give me money for charity or whatever it belongs to that. And secondly, do you think this has something to do with our tendency to not question authority because of the name? Like, ever since I've been a child, I've been told to keep my voice down or to keep quiet when I question something or question an authority.
See, you must first of all understand, a question is essentially a tool to dig deeper, to know something. That's why we question. So you must look into yourself and see, because I don't want to make a judgment about your own situation. You must look into yourself and see, are you asking a question to know? Or is your question a way of making a commentary on somebody else? Something clear. As far as I'm concerned, a question is a tool to dig deeper and know something more than what we know right now. If you want to make a comment, make a comment. Why are you making a comment in the form of a question? Don't do that. Because the sanctity of a question will go away. A question is a tremendous thing. To come up with the right question will take a lot of intelligence. Yes? To come up with the right question which will take you to the next step of your life takes a certain amount of consideration. So do not sully the question. Questioning should not be seen as arrogance. Questioning is seen as arrogance because people are using questions to make comments. So within yourself you clear that. And if your question is a genuine question, you must definitely ask the question. Because a question is a progress that humanity makes. This is why I said, all the scriptures in this culture are full of questions, no commandments. You must see the kind of questions Parvati is asking Shiva. Endless amount of questions. Even today in 21st century, most wives would not dare ask questions like that. Yes, that is the kind of questioning she is doing, because this is a genuine question. She is asking because she wants to know. She is not asking because she wants to comment about him. She is asking because she genuinely wants to know. And he sees that, honors that, respects that and answers every question to the best possible way. And certain questions which cannot be answered verbally, he puts her into a process of experience. So, I do not know who comes to your home and what is the situation, but just because you said, why can't we be normal and secular? Who said secular is normal? Let's understand the word secular. Secular means everybody has the right to do what they want and we respect that. Secular does not mean we give up everything that belongs to this culture and do what the English did and we think we are secular. No, I want you to understand. I want you to understand, even today in the United States of America or UK, from where we think we